I was impressed with this sequel. When Smile ended, I was certain that the entity had painted itself into a corner. It possessed a cop that knew its secrets and was connected with the psychiatric community. I thought this would be a short sequel where the entity lost in the end. One of the things that I appreciate about the Smile universe is that the entity is entirely non-physical. It cannot interact with the physical world at all. Everything it does is through its host. I don't necessarily think that many demons fall into this category, but after all the demons that are really just ugly animals in so many horror movies and television series, this is a welcome change. I hope that it helps some people break the mold they're used to thinking in. Since our point of view character is slowly losing her mind, we are left with a series of questions about the entity and the universe at large. During the movie, Sky meets Morris, who claims to be hunting the entity. Is Morris real, or is he entirely a construct of the entity? Sky's friend Gemma is entirely a construct of the entity, after all, but she's based on a real person. On a side note, it was fun to see actor Peter Jacobson playing a supporting role after Kal Penn played a similar supporting role in the first movie. I would feel like such a geek if they managed to pull Carla Gallo, Eugene Bird, and PJ Vaudot into the next movie and turn Temperance, Bones, Brennan Squinterns into an elite crack force of medical and psychiatrist professionals deeply hurt by the entity and out to destroy every last vestige of it. Which would be quite a challenge, given that the movie ends with the entity potentially being transferred to hundreds of Sky's fans as she brutally kills herself on stage in front of them. The idea of entity transfer and recognizing the entity in within a host is an element of my most recent story, Trouble with Telepaths. Unlike the entity in the Smile universe, the entity in my story has a name, Hunter. Hunter takes over the family of a woman who has to learn to identify it in her husband and her daughter. Here I'm including an excerpt of just how hard it can be for her with her family lost to this beast. Tina put her arm full of groceries on the counter, then started putting groceries away. It took a few minutes, but she managed to get the groceries where they belonged. What a day! Tina wiped the sweat off her forehead and pushed open the swinging door into the living room, ready for a good sit down and rest. Then she stopped dead in her tracks. Liz sat in the big chair. She sat perfectly still. She didn't even seem to notice Tina. Tina took a deep breath. "Welcome home, honey." Liz remained perfectly still, except that her eyes turned to look at Tina. Tina took another breath. "When you left, you said it was to stop being the hunter. Did that work?" Liz slowly shook her head. Tina took a step back towards the kitchen. "Who am I talking to?" Liz stood up. "Mom, do you think you'd still be alive if I were the hunter right now?" Tina backed into the kitchen. "Then why are you here?" Liz shook her head slowly. "I don't know. 2 or 3 days ago, I was a guest of Leather Jacket. Dad was running me through a meditation technique. The hunter kept disrupting my concentration with intrusive thoughts and hallucinations. I was getting frustrated. Then the next clear memory was sitting in this chair, listening to you work in the kitchen, feeling perfectly sated." Tina didn't like the sound of that at all. "Sated? You mean like the hunter had fed?" Liz laughed. "Exactly. Like I had just terrorized someone. But it's just you and me here. Who could I have hurt?" Tina felt the blood run out of her face. "John?" she asked, afraid to hear the answer. Liz shook her head and stood up. "Don't be ridiculous. John and the hunter have an arrangement. If he keeps you happy, the hunter leaves him alone." Tina kept the distance from her daughter as the younger advanced. "Would the hunter feel obligated to honor that agreement? Your father made that agreement." Liz stopped, analyzing the situation. "I never did like you. You're too smart for your own good." Tina shook her head. "Liz, don't say that." Liz reached down to her belt and pulled out a knife. "Do you really want to know the worst part truth? I really am Liz right now. As much as I ever will be ever again, anyway. It's such a driving force, the hunter. It doesn't even need to be in control to push me to do what I'm going to do. Tina tried to look brave as she kept the distance by stepping backwards. Where's John? Liz shrugged. I don't know. He ran the moment he saw me. Left his girlfriend behind, though. With that, Liz took a deep, refreshing breath as if savoring a sweet-smelling plate of food. She's still alive up there, you know. Your competition. We could end her together, Mom. The police know what I am. They'll believe you when you tell them that I did it. Then with a little shrug, she added, and if you don't help, I'll do it anyway. Tina shook her head. You're lying. John could never cheat on me. Liz laughed again. Could. Would. Did. Just then, John jumped from behind a bookshelf, managed to pin the knife and throw it away, and then had Liz pinned to the ground. Run! He yelled to Tina. Get out of here! I'll hold her as long as I can. Except with a thrust of her knee and a twist of her hips, John was neutralized. A slice mortally wounded her stepfather. It didn't really matter, though. Tina was halfway up the stairs before Liz had gotten back to her feet. Tina's head was spinning with feelings of jealousy, hurt, fear, and loss, but she couldn't leave a girl tied up in her bedroom. Except when Tina got there, the room was empty. There was no helpless side chick waiting to be rescued. Tina opened the closet and checked the locked window. Nothing. Then Liz appeared at the door. I thought you were a clever little truth. Yet here you are to rescue my imaginary victim. So sweet. So foolish. The knife was back in Liz's hand as she closed the bedroom door. She eyed her mother. One less truth in the world. My lucky day. Trouble with Telepaths is available for purchase on Amazon in either ebook or paperback, and it is also available on Kindle Unlimited for free.